we're at ScrewFix Live 2025. No introductions needed. Craig Phillips, Big Brother winner. Bow selector. What do we say about that? You know, we've just been talking about that over there. Yeah, I'd forgotten all about it and it all came back to me. But we're talking about spray equipment, the Wagner range of sprays. You've seen Craig on numerous videos where we talk about the cordless backpack sprayer there, and it's got the handheld. So I'm going to swivel round and let him talk us through it. Hello again, Craig.
Hello again, Phil. Thanks very much for coming over to us and welcome. Yes, we've been talking about paint sprayers. The W600 Wagner 18-volt universal paint sprayer. So, quick and easy to use. It's 18-volt battery, turbine on here. Turn it on, it creates nice warm air. Click, connect, and you're ready to start paint spraying. Any paint, any colour, any brand. This is the smallest reservoir that's on here. So this is ideal for your primer, undercoat gloss, eggshell, satin, wood preservatives, lacquers, varnishes, oil-based and water-based paints, even hammerite, metalite paints. We've been using Zinza, we've been using Apronol, and even Frenchy chalk paint is all perfect to use with this.
We like Caprol, really good paint.
Yeah, Caprol's brilliant.
If I'm just going to say, if you look in the top corner, I'll do it there. Caprol paints, got to try it.
Certainly have. For anyone using these for the first time, turn them on, get your paint up to pressure in there, hold that nozzle about 4 to 6 inches away from the surface. Once you pull that trigger, you'll see the paint will start to come out. Keep it nice and square and consistent. And then when you return up to the top, overlap the area that you're painting round about 50%. That way you're going to get a more flat, even, consistent finish across the actual surface itself. It's not just spraying up and down, you can also turn the nozzle, so it's that way. And once it's dry, you do your second coat across the area. Again, straddling it by 50%, keeping it nice and close, 4 to 6 inches away. Now that's 2 settings you've got on this, up and down and left to right. You can also turn the nozzle, so it's in between. Turn it on, turn your paint flow, airflow down a little bit, and your paint flow down a little bit on the trigger at the back. And this time, you've got a very narrow pass over of paint, where it makes life quicker and easier for doing spindles. A lot less paint, a lot less overspray. Still, of course, mask up your areas around you, whatever setting you're using on there. Indoors, all Wagner products come with a 3-year warranty. But once you purchased it, go to their website. In the first 30 days, register your purchase and get 4 years warranty absolutely free.
We always say, if you have to ask, you can't afford, what sort of price are these? Are we looking at a couple of £100? It's good to get you set up with it.
It is, yeah. On the catalogue price for the ScrewFix is normally about £210. That's with your 2 reservoirs and an empty unit. However, show price for this weekend, ScrewFix Live, of course, at Farnborough, I think it's about £167. So there's big savings there to be made. One thing to bear in mind as well, though, guys, they don't come with batteries. You buy the batteries separate. Bosch make our Wagner batteries for us, okay? We're world leaders in paint spray technology, been making them for 80 odd years. We haven't been making batteries, and we don't confess to do that. Bosch have been making them for nearly 40 years, so we've adopted their ones. However, we are told by reliable trades, so all the time, if you happen to have a DeWalt, a Milwaukee, a Black & Decker, you know, anything like that, you can get an adapter for your battery, which also mounts into the bottom of there. It's going to make it that little bit wider, of course. We personally don't sell them, we don't endorse them, but I have had dozens and dozens of trades assure me that they are using them on various different batteries. So all manufacturers are getting pressure by governments, etc., to make things more environmentally friendly. And the ideal thing is to make less batteries. So if you can get a universal battery to use across a variety of different tools, better for the environment and it's better for your pockets as well. It's going to cost you less. So overall, great technology moving on for Wagner. These have been out now, probably for a year and a half, have they, I think. We're getting good feedback off everybody. We put the battery to the ultimate test as well, because we knew on social media, everyone's going to say, And you're probably thinking it now, how long is a battery going to last? How many fence panels is it going to do when you're spraying a 6-foot wooden fence panel? So I put it to the ultimate test. Cheeky plug here, Phil. Head straight over to the Mr. and Mrs. DIY YouTube channel or social media, and I put the batteries to the ultimate test. And I think we got about 16 and a half 6-foot wide fence panels done with one 2.5 amp battery, and it took me just under 18 minutes. I then compared that with a corded version. I think it was the 590 Wagner version, a little bit bigger, performance-wise, finish just exactly the same. And I did the full 20 sides of these panels, and that was in about 18 minutes. So it was that little bit quicker, but of course I had the tailing behind me. So whether you're working up on ladders, on scaffolding, you need that versatility to be able to move around. The battery might be best for you, or the corded version. If you don't need that, it's going to last that little bit longer.
I'm going to interact on that for the painter and decorator, because I am the painting and decorating channel. Well, you know where I'm coming from on that. I think if you're a painter and decorator, haven't branched out yet into spraying, and you don't want to spend £1,000 out, you don't want to spend 1,500 quid out, this would get you spraying woodwork for a couple of £100. And Craig's proved it. We aren't, can we use the word Mickey Mouse paint?
Yeah, cool.
We're not using Mickey Mouse paints for this testing. And on my channel, you've seen me numerous times been testing PU satin. We use PU gloss quite a lot for brushing.
It's nice, it's strong.
It's a lovely polyurethane paint. You're spraying with that today.
And it's undiluted. It's straight out of the can.
Straight out the can.
But the turbine is strong enough to be able to push that straight out of the can. We've tried a variety of different paints, and your satins and things like that are usually fine out there. If you're using an emulsion paint, they're a little bit thicker and heavier, sometimes 5 or 10% dilution, but just apply a thin coat on because it's more quicker to apply. I always say put 3 or 4 thin coats on, better than 2 heavy coats for me.
Do you know what, Craig? We're going to make a painter and decorator. It is.
Maybe one day. One day.
Well, everybody thinks you are anyway now, don't they?
I know, and you know, and you know, funny you say that, Phil. Many people say to me, "Oh, but you make it look easy. You're a professional." And generally, I'm not a professional painter and decorator. I've done a lot of it in my building company and also on makeover shows.
Yeah.
And I've got by with the paintbrush and roller. It's not a professional finish. It's an acceptable finish. And for the untrained eye, it looks good, you know. But what I found when I first started using paint sprayers, and as you mentioned, this is a great entry level for beginners. I find for beginners with this, I can get a professional result quicker and easier and better than I can do with a paintbrush and a roller by using and relying on the spray paint technology. You know,
you're going to get people saying to you, but there's the taping up and there's the masking and everything. And I'm going to say it. It doesn't always necessarily make the job quicker.
No.
But once you've got taped up, and you're going to show us something now,
I am.
It might take you a couple of hours to tape up. But if you're going to spray that room out or spray your woodwork out in 30 minutes, and you get the heating on, and it dries pretty quick, and then in the next hour you've got another coat on.
Do
you know what? You're not spending all day
time.
with it.
You're winning time, And it's funny, you know, Phil, because someone who's not in the industry, I may not have come across something like this before. It's a simple, inexpensive invention. It's masking tape connected to polythene, So I'll just cut a little piece off here. In fact, I'll do a line across here for us at the bottom. Bearing in mind my wallpaper here is a little bit loose, a little bit baggy. But, and we've got a trimming knife in here. Yes, got one hovering around. I'll slice that off there. Now you'll see that there, of course, you doing that at home, take your time. Follow your skating board or your window frame or your plasterwork where the ceiling meets the walls. Pull your polythene out. The static effect sticks to it. And then, if we, this nozzle's nice and clean. If we paint over that, we're letting that masking tape do the work. For me, the amount of time it takes to mask up, which I don't believe is long, what you're also doing is getting a perfect straight line all the way across there. Now you multiply, add up that time it takes you with that brush on how slow you have to be, how quick you have to be to cut in them lines between your wall and your ceiling on different colours, or the edge of your door frames your architraves, your skating boards, etc. I find this method for me, I'd rather spend 20 minutes, half an hour masking up around the area because I know I can spray it in minutes, but most importantly is the finish. I'm getting that perfect straight line, which I generally cannot do as good as most professionals would do with a paintbrush. I can rely on the material itself.
I'm going to add to that, it puts the fun back into painting because people say, oh, painting, I've spent all weekend doing it. If you've got a little sprayer, it will put that little bit of a buzz back into the chore that you didn't want to do on a Friday.
And you know what? We're all guilty of that. Painting, you know, as a trade, it's physically hard sometimes, it's time consuming, and you can get a little bit deflated knowing you've got to do the prep, you've got to mash your 4 or 5 coats on it to get a great result. What we found with when people switch to paint spraying, they're not put off by them chores as much because they know it's a bit quicker. You can often get a more professional result. And people have often said as well, it's quite therapeutic to use. So, you know, in lockdown, we all suffered. We were at home a lot. We know that many, many people living on their own had a little paint sprayer, turned to spraying their gardens. It was a good summer, wasn't it? You know, they're spraying up the garden furniture, their fences, etc. And they said for them, it was therapeutic. Give them a purpose, give them something to do at home. And then they felt proud because they made the garden, the house look better. And then they want to spend more time in it, you know. Yeah. So for me, it's a win-win-win. Paint spraying isn't for everybody. We know that, you know. But if you're looking to, you know, up your skills, let's say, speeding up your time, because time is money, you know, it's worth starting at an entry level with something like the Wagner W600 and giving it a go. Don't forget to watch all of our online videos where I've got lots of little tips showing you how to do it, set it up, clean it, prepare, application, everything. They're all on there. So make sure you.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be here. And
always a pleasure.
I will see you in Coventry.
Yes.
In a few weeks.
Yeah, you will do.
So we'll go through it all again.
All again.
Thank you very much.